What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man, let's talk about this excellent fight, super fight. Really glad that I watched it. Daniel Jacobs versus Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez wins a unanimous decision. I think the cards were something like 115, 113, 115, 113, 116, 112. Canelo Alvarez shows why he's one of the top fighters in the world. Daniel Jacobs shows why he deserved to be there, why he deserved to be a world champion. I just, after that fight, I left it with a lot of respect for both guys. And then they talk about what's going on after that. So let's chop it up about that. But before I do, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, hit the bell icon and subscribe so you can you'll know when we drop more videos, and also when we do our live streams. I'm telling you, man, Canelo Alvarez is a heck of a fighter. Many people on my channel know that I'm one of the bigger fans of the skill set of Canelo Alvarez. I think that this is a guy that really can do absolutely everything in the ring. He's one of these guys that have, he started off walking down Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs would make several adjustments, right? Switching from southpaw to orthodox. At times, Daniel Jacobs would try to walk towards him, and Canelo Alvarez would just switch. He can just do everything, man. He can walk you down. He can box you. He can fight on the outside. 1 minute, man, when it was just one of the things that I really like about Canelo is his upper body movement and his ability to stand right in front of somebody and slip punches, and punches that look like they're about to land miss by, just fractions of an inch. And it's just he's just excellent at the science of boxing, man. All the, other stuff that goes around the boxing, around his skill set, that's, that could be something else. Of course you have, issues about whether or not, he won some close fights with great fighters like Israel Lara and Austin Trout, or whether or not he, and he gets the benefit of the doubt by the judges. Of course you got issues with, them taking pretty much everything they can in the fight, from the rehydration clauses and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, I try to say this every video that I talk about Canelo. The biggest problem in beating Canelo is not the judges, it's not the contracts. It's the fact that Canelo Alvarez is just a great fighter, and he is one of the best fighters on the planet, man. And when I watch him do that to Daniel Jacobs, that's why when people say, when I say, look, man, I got Terrence Crawford number 1 pound for pound, number 1A, Canelo number 1B, and then I'll see Canelo fight and it'll be Canelo's number 1A and then Terrence Crawford's number 1B. That's why it is, man. There's nobody, I don't think there's anybody in boxing around his weight class that is just going to convincingly beat Canelo Alvarez. He is just able to do too many things. And aside from just his ability to do so many things, he has so much experience in the ring fighting Hall of Fame fighters like Miguel Cotto and Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Israel Lara, Austin Trout. I mean, it just goes on and on with the Gennady Golovkin, with the level of experienced fighters that he's been in the ring with. It's like the guy has seen everything that there is to see at a very young age of 28 years old. So even though, I would definitely say that he's got some protection around him, the biggest problem is not the protection. The biggest problem with beating Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez's skill. And I just got to recognize it. There was a period of time in that fight where Daniel Jacobs was just starting to, it seemed like he was really starting to get something going, and he might have thrown, man, what was that? Maybe it was like the 4th round where Daniel Jacobs threw maybe 10, 11 punches, man. And Canelo Alvarez just sat there and just made him miss every one of them. Like, he just knew what was coming before it was coming. And he was just too slick, man. And it just became apparent early on that he was the better fighter. Daniel Jacobs, on the other hand, man, I have no issue with what he was doing. He showed that he was a world class fighter. His ability, he was trying to use the jab, sticking the jab, trying to stay busy with the jab. And he was doing pretty decently in my book for the first three rounds with that jab until Canelo Alvarez got the timing of it. And then just as soon as Canelo Alvarez wanted him to stop landing the jab at all, he wasn't able to land it. And that's when the fight originally turned. Now, I was listening to how guys were covering the fight and saying that, and by that I mean Sugar Ray Leonard and some of the other commentators, saying that Daniel Jacobs didn't really push the fight enough early on. I mean, if you're of the mindset that you're just going to give Canelo Alvarez the round because he's Canelo Alvarez, I can see that. But I don't really think that Canelo Alvarez was really doing too much in the beginning rounds either, really up until round 4. But probably round 4 through about round 7, he really did start picking up. He really just started out, not picking up the pace, but just outclassed Daniel Jacobs. So this wasn't really, I don't think this fight all in all was I don't think it was a dominating performance, right? I don't think he just dominated Daniel Jacobs, but he outclassed him. He was just a skill level and an experience level above Daniel Jacobs. And that although Daniel Jacobs was making adjustments, he was solving problems in there. He showed that he's a top-notch fighter. He just did not have everything that Canelo Alvarez had. Canelo Alvarez was, again, he stopped that fight. He just picked up where the last fight with Gennady Golovkin let off by, walking down Daniel Jacobs just like he was walking down Gennady Golovkin. And like I said, man, that's just a hell of a fighter. Now, as far as what goes on next, after the fight was over, Eddie Hearn was pushing the idea from the zone of the next fight not being Demetrius Andrade, but being a rematch with Gennady Golovkin. Personally, I would rather see the Demetrius Andrade fight. Demetrius Andrade, of the people that have the best chance, and I said this before, I'm taking Jermall Charlo out of this. Of the people that have the best chance to beat Canelo Alvarez, of the belt holders, for me, it wasn't Daniel Jacobs. For me, it's Demetrius Andrade, because I think Demetrius Andrade is much more versatile. He's much slicker and just gives you more looks than Daniel Jacobs. And I just think he's a more talented, more versatile version and a southpaw version of Daniel Jacobs. And as far as the people that are holding the championship belts, I really do believe that he is the guy. That's the fight that I really want to see. Demetrius Andrade and Canelo Alvarez, because you might as well get to it and get all 4 of those belts together. If he fights Gennady Golovkin again, I know that that's going to be something that's big for the zone. And, there's going to be a lot of fan interest in it. I guess there's going to be a lot of fan interest. I don't know how much fan interest there really was in this fight with Gennady Golovkin, with Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs. It's just, I didn't hear a lot of buzz about it outside of, the boxing circles that, are on the channel on a regular basis. There just wasn't a lot of energy around it. I even was looking in the upper echelon, the upper deck of the fight, and it looked like there were seats available in the upper deck of that fight. All right, it didn't have the usual electric atmosphere of a Canelo Alvarez fight. And I think that's got a lot to do with the fact that it was on DAZN, and it really wasn't, publicized to the masses. But regardless, there's going to be a push for the Gennady Golovkin fight, and I can understand that. But the real fight is unification at 160 pounds. Canelo Alvarez said he just wants the biggest fight out there, but I would really hope that Canelo Alvarez would want unification and to be the champion 160 pounds. Brian Kenny was there talking about just recognizing Canelo Alvarez as the champion, but that's not how it works. Brian Kenny, the infamous calling the guy who used to be working for ESPN that called Floyd Mayweather Jr. a paper champion, was now saying that, the Canelo Alvarez is just the champion and Andre's not the champion, and that's just nonsense. But anyway, shout out to everybody. Canelo Alvarez, great fight. Daniel Jacobs fought the best he could. He was just outclassed. And with that, I'm out. Peace.